Let's make some Christmas signs for our porch using our Cricut. So we're gonna make a couple different round ones for our door, as well as a little bit of a taller one that you could set with some decor pieces. So we're gonna be using this bundle right here, the Holly Jolly bundle. It is so stinking cute and packed full of stuff. It is $19 with almost $200 in value, and I love the name Holly Jolly. It is one of my favorites. And like I said, it is packed full of goodies for this holiday season, including ornaments, signs, t-shirt stuff, you name it. So I'm going to be using a couple different sign bundles out of here to make our signs today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's go ahead and start over here in Cricut Design Space. So I've already downloaded my files and brought them into Cricut Design Space. The really cool thing about our bundles is you don't have to download the entire bundle at one time. You can download individual bundles out of that bundle, whichever ones you want to use, so that way you don't have all of those files until you're ready to use them. So as you guys can see, I have uploaded these pieces here. I have welded pieces together that I want to cut together just to save me some time, and then I pretty much left a lot of pieces separate to be able to save as much material as I can. So I've brought all of these in because I'm creating all three signs at one time, and then I'll cut them out. That way all the reds combine, all of the browns and all of that kind of stuff to save me even more material. So now that we've got everything cut out, let's go ahead and make them. Starting off with our round signs, I'm going to be using both of these here. This is a 12-inch as well as, I believe it's a 15-inch here. So the 12-inch ones I get from Amazon. I have them linked down below for you guys. You get like 10 in a box. They're super duper affordable, and they're perfect for making those round signs. So we've got those, and then I found these. I think it comes with 3 in a pack. These are quite thick, and like I said, these ones they're almost 15 inches. So these are 14 inches. Once again, they come with 3. These I found at Hobby Lobby, and you can snag these for around 40% off. They're $12.99, so around, you know, $7 or so. Not too bad for 3 round signs. Now, another little tip is you can find these ones right here at the Dollar Tree currently, and they actually have the holes for you with a hanger. So you can purchase these at the Dollar Tree if you can find them in your local area. So for these two here, I'm going to be painting those white. I'm going to be using chalk paint, and the one I'm going to use today is Waverly. I never know if I'm saying that right. I get these from Walmart, and they're around $1.50 or so. Quite affordable, and there's tons of colors to choose from. Now, what I'm going to show you too is I'm actually going to be using a stencil today because I didn't have the color of adhesive vinyl that I wanted. So I'm actually just going to stencil that piece. So I'm going to show you using a mixture of HTV, adhesive vinyl, and stenciling some paint. You guys can accomplish these signs if you don't have all of your colors on hand. So I didn't have any brown white chalk paint, so I'm going to add a little bit of regular brown here that I've just got. This is folk art paint that I've had on hand. I'm going to add a little bit of that to the white chalk paint to make my very own brown. So I've got those. Let's go ahead and paint both of these white so that way they can be drying, and then we'll start on our longer sign. All right, so I've shook up my white here, so we are ready to go, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and dip right in here. I've got a foam brush. You can use whatever paintbrush you would like, and I'm going to go ahead and quickly paint over these. Now, I like to choose chalk paint because it dries so fast. It is one of my favorites. It's not super thick, and it is a lot easier to apply your adhesive vinyl. So if you are struggling, say for example, you are using acrylic paint and you're noticing that you're struggling applying your adhesive vinyl, that's a little tip for me, is using chalk paint. Now, the cool thing about chalk paint too, because it dries so fast, if you need to go over for a second layer, it's gonna dry down so fast that you can apply that second layer like nothing. So these are perfect too if you're making something last minute, or you own a business and you're making a ton of these back to back. But absolutely love me some chalk paint. Feel free to use whatever chalk paint brand that you like. You guys know that I also like the StarCraft. I am just trying to start using the Waverly more, just because you can grab it locally at Walmart and things like that. So I wanna make sure that I do try to use supplies that you guys can grab as well. So I'm gonna start trying to really use this one. You guys let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite chalk paints? Moving right along into our second one here. This one, I love these. You guys know that I've been using these for quite some time, the ones from Amazon, because they're really thin and they look nice on the door. So they're perfect, super lightweight. I really, really like them. All right, so I am happy with these. once again, if you feel like you want to put a second coat, you can definitely do so. You can also make these look more rustic and grunged up. You could go ahead and take a sander and lightly sand some spots, or come in with some other colors like some browns, and you can do some little strokes in there, some grays. Go back over and wash it with that white to really get it to look vintage as well. So feel free, once again, to do these however you'd like. So we're gonna set these guys out of the way, let them dry, and we're gonna move on to our next sign. For this next sign, we're gonna be doing a longer sign here. Now this is not one of those super duper tall signs that you could do. You could definitely do that. Inside of Cricut Design Space, I actually unlocked this design so I could get that exact measurement. So for example, I put in, 6.8 inches by 28 inches long, and I made this perfectly fit this sign. So if you really wanted to do a nice tall one, you could do that as well, but I'm just showing you here so everything can fit in the camera. So I will be doing the parchment paper hack as well to line up a few pieces. So I'm gonna have my parchment paper here. Now I wanted to show you guys that I cut, for example, I welded these two pieces of black together because I cut my pieces into 12 by 12. So I want to make sure that I could get the most on there to keep them together. So that's what I did. So I did the same thing as you can see here with the red, and then it'll have its next piece that kind of goes in here as well. So we're going to go ahead and line these up from top to bottom, keeping them nice and straight. So what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and get this one down, get my next pieces down, and then we will definitely come back in with, so for example, this one here, I'll come back in, we'll start with this one, and then we'll come back in with this one right here. If that totally makes sense, if I haven't already confused you guys. So we could definitely use that parchment paper hack to keep everything straight. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I've got my parchment. Now you guys know I love to purchase my parchment paper sheets, so that way they're just perfectly sized for us. I use them for all sorts of crafts. So what I'm gonna do to make this super duper easy is lay it down in here. I'll get myself a little bit of a crease. I don't need it to be super, wall to wall. I just want a nice straight line just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim this down. So I'm going to double check at this point just to make sure everything's going to fit inside my sign, and it is. So like I said, we're going to start with that one at the top. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everything is going to line up where it is supposed to. All right, so as you can see, everything is going to fit in here nicely, so you always want to double check yourself before you get too crazy along the way. So now, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start from top and work my way all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these pieces here, and then we're going to go ahead and get a piece of transfer. For today, I'm switching it up. You guys always know I use my roll of transfer that's all on one roll. Today I'm gonna switch it up with Caesar because this is my second favorite transfer tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this one today. All right, so I'm just gonna line this up and trim a piece down like so. Now I should be able to use the same piece over and over. All right, so taking that transfer tape, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm trying to get all the way up at the top because I am leaving the excess at the end because I do have a longer design and I wanna be able to use the same transfer tape over and over again. So I'm gonna get it like this, and then we're gonna take that squeegee and we're just gonna go ahead and rub this into the transfer. So from here, I do wanna make sure that my transfer is gonna fit in here perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off this part right here. All right, we're gonna double check that it's gonna fit down in there, and it is, so we are ready. I'm gonna move my parchment paper up, just leaving a small gap up here at the top. Something about like that looks good to me. And now we're going to peel off the backing. All right, there we go. So now I can set this right on top of my parchment paper so I can really line this guy up and figure out exactly where I want it to go. And I want it to be nice and high up there, so I'm gonna figure out that placement and then we'll start rubbing it down. All right, so I've moved it into position, so I'm gonna go ahead and rub down my transfer tape up here at the top, take my squeegee, get that down. I'm gonna be able to lift this up and remove that parchment, and this is going to perfectly fall into place. So now we can go ahead and rub these pieces in. All right, looks great. So now We're gonna carefully lift this up, and it's already coming together. It is gorgeous. Now, if you guys are new here, I do use the matte color adhesive vinyl. I think it looks like you have hand painted it. It is gorgeous. So I do recommend the matte over the gloss. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our next piece. This is the one I was talking about where I left that length. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line this guy up, leaving a little piece at the top. There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. I'm gonna squeegee this guy down and pick it up. Flip it over and peel. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We are gonna get our parchment paper up here, but this time I'm going to have it somewhere right about in here. I'm going to line this up, figuring out about where I want this to go, something about like that. And you definitely wanna make sure you have a piece that is gonna be outside of your parchment so that way it's gonna stick. All right, so nice and easy. I'm gonna go ahead and line this up just like so. Figure out exactly where I want that placement. All right, so once you do, you're gonna rub down that little bit that you're gonna leave at the top. Same thing, we're going to rub that out. Lift out that parchment. The really cool thing about the parchment hack is the adhesive vinyl will not stick to it. So you don't want to do this with regular old paper. You want to make sure that it does have a wax coating. So we're going to go ahead and take our squeegee once again and rub it down. All right, so we're going to go ahead and carefully peel. And you guys, hopefully you guys can see already how that looks like it is hand painted. It is just so cool. So we're gonna go ahead and continue all the way down. So I'm gonna get my parchment paper up here once again, somewhere right about in here where I have enough room to stick. And we're gonna pick up our next piece. For our next piece, it's gonna be this little guy right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and carefully lift this one. Now I could always lift up this guy right here and then go ahead and pick up this one. And I'm actually gonna show you all that now. All right, so just as before, like we've been doing in the sign, I've got parchment paper on my countertop just so this piece doesn't stick to my table. I've got down my design. I'm gonna take another parchment right on top of this, and then I'm gonna stick this guy down, find that perfect placement so we can connect them together. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with something about like this so I can stick this to that parchment paper, and then I'm going to remove this one, and then we're gonna go ahead and rub it down. So this is just gonna allow me to kill two birds with one stone so I can go down those same segments as I have been doing. So we're gonna flip it over and peel it. So ultimately, if you wanted to, you could create an entire line with that and go all the way down if that's something you felt more comfortable to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get our parchment paper pack back inside up here, and then we're gonna go right back on top and figure out where we want this to go. All right, so I'm happy with this. We're gonna go ahead and squeegee down, remove that parchment paper, just like that. Carefully lay it down, and then squeegee just like this. And then now we're gonna go ahead and lift and go ahead and get ready for our next piece. So for our next one, we have this piece right here. Now this would also be perfect for your coffee bar, but I also thought it would be cute to set up outside with all of your decor out there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and come down a little bit. Now that we've used this with that big piece, I'm actually gonna go ahead and trim it down at this point. All right, so same thing, we're gonna go ahead and pick it up with that transfer. So as you can see, we're coming to the end of the road down here. So either A, I can trim up my parchment, or this time I can actually work from the bottom up. So that's what I'm gonna do, is just scoop my parchment paper up and then work down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up and get it where I want it to be. All right, so that looks good to me. I'm gonna go ahead and rub it down just like we've done before, peel up, and then we're gonna smooth everything out. All right, so here goes our very last piece, which is the word here. And I'm actually gonna take the piece that I trimmed down smaller because it's gonna work a whole lot better. And then just pick it up, and then we're gonna go ahead and lay it right there in between. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that same parchment one last time so we can get this down. And just like that, we've made our very first sign. Once again, perfect for your coffee bar, but I really thought it would be cute outside because it's almost like one of those old-fashioned signs that you would see in front of a gas station or something like that that says to grab your hot cocoa here. So say, for example, if you have a porch and you have the, what do you call them? It would be the railing or the, right before you'd walk up on the steps, you can kind of hang it on there as well. I just think it would be so, so cute. So as you can see, while we were making the other sign, these are dry and ready to go. Like I said, I'm obsessed with chalk paint. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna go down first with our piece of adhesive, and for this one, I didn't have the perfect brown that I wanted for my little gingerbread guys, so I ended up using HTV. So this is Caesar Easy Weed, so we're gonna use this with a little mini iron to get these down. All right, so starting out, let's go ahead and pick up our biggest piece and get it on our sign. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our transfer tape here and pick up our biggest piece first. So for this, we just need to rub in the areas that actually have adhesive vinyl. So we're gonna do that really quick, just like so. I've already got that guy. Now you can see a piece gone here because for my other sign, it was the word hi, and instead of wasting more material, I just stuck it right here in the middle. So that's something to think about as well, is filling up this piece, because this is gonna be all trash essentially. So we're gonna go ahead and peel. Now for this one, essentially you could do the exact same parchment paper hack. All right, so I went ahead and carefully got this down, but if you feel like you're going to mess up in any sort of way, definitely feel free to do that same parchment paper hack. So we're just gonna go ahead and rub everything in. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and carefully peel. And also with the chalk paint, I'll point out that it really holds up well with using the transfer tape. It doesn't pull everything up too, so I really like that. But look how adorable this is already looking. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the next piece here, which is going to be that milk and cookies. I'm gonna get it down first and then get these pieces, and then we'll come back for our little guys. All right, we're gonna flip it over and peel. And then we're gonna go ahead. I don't wanna trim this down just yet because I think I might be able to use it for my last sign. So I'm gonna try to keep it all together. So we're just going to kind of center this guy up. All right, so something right about there looks good to me. And as you can see, I've shifted this a little bit because I kept this piece welded together when it cut. So that needed to shift. If you always look back at your image, you can see about where that's gonna go. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and rub in the milk and cookies. So once again, going in with that vintage look, I just think this would be so cute to add to your front door. So now I'm trimming down a piece of transfer that I actually used with our first sign. So that way, like I said, I don't waste that one. So I'm gonna trim down a piece just like this, and then we're gonna get down these pieces here. So we're gonna start with that North Pole. I did this in a burgundy and I thought it came out really nice. So for the image, it actually showed it in like a brown, but like I said, I went in with a burgundy and I thought it looked really, really good. So now, like I said, I'm just gonna center that guy up, rub it in, just like that. And then we're gonna grab our next one. All right, so I'm gonna drop it somewhere right about in there. And then we are going to carefully, if you need to go back, just go back and rub it again. And then there we go. So filling Santa's tummy since 1824. So stinking cute. So here we go. We're gonna go in with our two gingerbread guys. So the big one was right about here. This is what's just gonna really tie this guy off. Now another little tip is you could cut these out in felt. That's just gonna give it a little bit more of that 3D look. Or you guys know if you go to the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby or Michael's and things like that, you'll find really cute pieces like gingerbread guys that are stuffed or maybe out of glitter for the holiday season that you guys can actually glue on here and make them pop off and give more of a 3D look. But like I said, today I wanted to show you guys, if you don't have the color of adhesive vinyl, you can use HTV on your sign and it's gonna last for years to come. So what you wanna do is get your little mini iron on the lowest settings. Then you want to cover with some parchment paper. Make sure that you cover because it will ruin your adhesive vinyl. If you stick your iron straight to the adhesive vinyl, it will melt it. You can go over your adhesive vinyl like this, and that'll actually, on the lowest setting, that will actually speed up that adhesive, help melt it a little bit to get it to adhere to your sign and help it be more permanent a whole lot quicker. So what I'm doing now is just going over my HTV guys. Now think about this. We're not making a t-shirt, so I don't need to go over this for 30 seconds. I just need to go over it enough to where my adhesive on the back is melting. So I'm just gonna go over it a little bit like this, making sure I'm keeping constant motion. I'm gonna go over the rest of my sign so that way I kind of get all of that adhesive going there. So we're gonna go ahead and test it and see if those guys have stuck already. Once they do, you're gonna be good to go. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and peel Perfect. And then we're gonna go back over here and peel as well. So if it's not sticking, just go right back on there and go over it again. But once again, just make sure everything is covered and you're good to go. Look at how stinking cute this is. It is ready to hang on the door. All you simply have to do is add a little piece of string or ribbon to the back here and it is ready. So really, really cute. Once again, these thin ones here are perfect. They're lightweight and they are super duper affordable to make your sign and they look amazing. So there we have it. So let's go ahead and make our last one. All right, so I've decided to line up a few pieces here. You guys can see that this is ready. Only needed one coat. It is perfect and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out and start lining up my pieces to figure out where they're gonna go. Because for this one, as you can see, I've weeded out this piece that you normally would keep because this is going to be our stencil. So I actually wanna stencil on my paint first, and then we're gonna get down this one. So let's go ahead and start off with our stencil. So this guy is gonna go somewhere right about here. And then I'm just gonna double check where this is gonna be and just make sure everything's gonna line up. All right, so back it up. I'm actually deciding to do something else. I'm gonna do this one first because I know that this little piece right here on the side is gonna line up here, and then this is gonna go down. So I'm just really gonna make sure that these guys are gonna go in the correct position. So let's go ahead and pick him up first. And what's really, really cool is this piece right here I have, I can still use it. So I'm probably gonna be able to do this entire sign with this same piece here. So let's go ahead and pick this one up right here. Take that squeegee. I don't want to cut it down just yet because the antlers are quite large. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick this guy up. Now feel free to layer this however you want to. Now you may not be painting one section. I am because like I said, I didn't have another brown to go here. And then I'm just gonna figure out about where this guy's gonna go with his ear. So before I get too committing here, I've kind of just got it floating on top. I'm gonna make sure that this guy is going to fit on my board good enough, which I think it really looks like it's gonna be okay. I think that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and go down right here and get our first piece. I'm just gonna go ahead and squeegee that down. So as you can see right here, how that just goes right up against the edge, you can really see where that's at. So let's go ahead and get on our stencil. So for this stencil, I'm actually going to trim like this, just so I can get it nice and close on top of here. And then I'll just kind of trim off some of this down here. There we have it. All right, so that looks good to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rub everything down just like this, so we can peel very carefully because this bottom piece is not stuck to anything at the moment. And so what I'm gonna do is just kind of stretch that out there because really I don't need that bottom piece because I'm only painting this piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready. I'm gonna mix a few pieces. Now what I like to use the back side of my adhesive vinyl sheets is for a paint palette. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of that white and that brown mixed up and get our nose. Something that I thought would be really cute too, just to mention it before I forget, this piece that we cut out in black, his nose, would be really cute if we had cut that out with glitter HTB because it's more sparkly. That would be really cute in red for his nose. Just a little tip as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix in a little bit of this brown so we can get a little bit of a darker color here, and then we'll keep on going. All right, so I have this really pretty beige. It's actually just another little tone of this, so that way it's just two-toned and we don't have the same color going on there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take that in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and carefully stencil, staying inside of here not to get on the outside, and I'm gonna paint. And I totally forgot to mention that I'm using a foam dauber for this. You could definitely stencil this entire thing if you wanted to with paint, and that would have been really cute as well. All right, so very carefully I have removed that stencil there. So we've got our paint, and if you need to touch up anything at this point, you could definitely feel free to do that. I did peel off a little bit of my white here, so if I wanted to go back in, I could touch that up, but we're not gonna worry about it today. So what's really cool is now I can move on to my other pieces, and we can come back to this piece towards the end and let it dry. Something else that I wanted to point out, I did use a foam brush here, but you could also cut this out with your Glowforge. And another question I get all of the time time is, do you have to be a Plus member to purchase these bundles? And the answer is no. All you simply have to do is add them to your cart and check out. So anybody can purchase and enjoy these bundles. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna get his ears and then we'll get his antlers down. All right, so going back in with one of those small pieces again. I love the Caesar, like I said, it's really, really good. It's another one of my favorites, but I thought I would go ahead and use it, like I said, today because I always forget to. So we're gonna flip this guy around. Go ahead and get this down, being careful to stay off of that paint. Squeegee those in, just like that. That would have been cute to paint in there as well. There we have it. So now let's go ahead and move on to our antlers. I just realized I have paint. I just made this shirt right before we made this video and I've got paint everywhere. I can't even make this stuff up. So you guys let me know in the comments below if you guys are a messy crafter like me. What is the worst thing that you guys have done? Have you got it on your carpet, your tables? I want to know, what have you guys painted that you shouldn't? All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and pick up our big antlers here. Now, once again, you can see right here that that is where this is going to go against the side. So I'm going to be particular, paying attention to that. So we've got our big transfer here. We're going to get it up here. And I'm going to carefully line this up, paying attention to that side there. Place these pieces down. We're going to squeegee them in. There we have it. And peel. And see, I can already feel this paint, it's already dry. So I'm super excited about it. I'm gonna go ahead and get the word hi down next. I'm gonna go ahead and squeegee this. And we can actually cut this down because the last piece that we're gonna use that's big is going to be the light string. So we'll get that out of here. We're gonna go ahead and get this piece out of the way. All right, and we're gonna go somewhere right about here. Looks good to me. And we're gonna rub it in. All right, so now let's go ahead and get in the lights. So I'm just gonna look at it really quick and see. I believe it's gonna go from this side. This is gonna go right up here at the top of that antler and then come down right about there. So let's go ahead and get that transfer and pick it up. And then carefully, we are going to peel, and it's coming together. It's looking so stinking cute. We want to keep this big again because of the lights, so we're just going to go ahead and start adding those in. I think the nose is good, so let's go ahead and add that in. So we're going to add his little face here because it just kind of really helps you visualize him, right? So let's go ahead and grab that real fast and get that out of the way because that paint is completely dry. All right, so somewhere right about here looks good to me. I'm gonna carefully just rub his eyes and his nose. I don't need to rub all the way around that transfer. And there we have it. So cute. All right, so we're gonna take this white here. This is gonna be his highlight. Something as simple as this really does make a design pop. So we're gonna go ahead and just go right there, and you can see that difference by adding that little bit of a highlight there of how that's just even better. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our lights. So the first one that starts up here is gonna be the orange. Let's go ahead and pick that guy up. Now for these, they're all the same size, the lengthwise. So I'm gonna go ahead and go and trim this piece now so it's controllable and we know what we're working with. Get that out of the way, and we're gonna pick up the lights here. Now also in the comments below, you guys let me know what Christmas crafts you are working on. Let me know which one of these are your favorite, which one you'll be recreating, and also make sure you guys join our Facebook community group because over there you can share all of your projects with us so we can check them out. All right, so here, this is where it may be good to come in with that parchment. But really honestly, if you're struggling lining these pieces up one at a time, so say for example, this isn't lining up, I could cut these individual. So if you're not comfortable laying all these down at one time and nothing's lining up, don't worry about it. Cut them individual and lay them one at a time. All right, so let's peel this up and grab our next thing of lights. Now also in the comments below, you guys let me know, are you a person that likes the multicolored lights like this? Or are you somebody that is basic and you like the clear bulbs? I actually prefer the clear bulbs over the multicolor. My daughter bought, I want to say the Christmas tree she bought this year. We like the pre-lit trees. She did find one that had its clear and multiple colors so she can have whichever one she wants in case she decides to change her mind over the seasons. But I do like the clear bulbs over the color. All right, so there is that. All right, so I'm lining these up. I am realizing I've lost a red bulb somewhere. So whenever I actually weeded this, I must have lost a red one. So when we're done with this, I'll actually have to go back and cut out another one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and grab our last color right here. I love how this came out with the multi-colors. It is so stinking cute. And if you guys are like me, I'm a fan of layering some adhesive vinyl. And there you guys have it. We have made our third and final door hanger here. So once again, just simply add a piece of string on here. You could add a bow. You could spruce this up with some little leaves and elements, all sorts of fun stuff. But I really, really love this. Lots of different ways that you guys could actually recreate this one here. You could actually even paint your wood round black and maybe just do the clear bulbs, do some white string going through there or whatever you would like. But I really, really love this one. You guys let me know, like I said, in the comments below, which one is your favorite? Is it this wood round, that one, that door sign? You guys let me know. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.